So I'm just going to share my screen with you so that you can follow along the PowerPoint slides. And I was just going to ask you, if people are signing in to join, do you mind letting them in? Because I can't view them from the screen that I'm on right now.
Yep, that's fine. I can do that.
Yeah. Okay, so this is our intro slide here. You can find my email. So if you have any questions for me throughout the process, you can always send me an email with any questions once you've decided if you wanted to take one of these courses. And then there's just a note as well that the presentation is being recorded, as I mentioned before. So this slide here addresses the agenda for today. So we're going to talk about the benefits of a research-based learning experience, the available directed research and supervised study courses, application process and finding a supervisor, recognition and awards, biological sciences certificate, and then we're going to have a question and answer period at the end. So I can answer some of those questions. And we also have Jennifer Campbell here, who's our program coordinator, and Dr. Arthea Schock, who's the course coordinator for Bio D95, as well as D98 and D99. So between the three of us, we'll answer your questions. I would ask for you to leave your questions until the end of the presentation. So if you have any questions throughout, you can always note those down, and then we'll address them all at the end. I'm first going to talk about the benefits of taking a directed research and supervised study course. There are many benefits. It's such a different experience than taking a regular course. It just gives you a different type of experience that you wouldn't typically get. So undergraduate research experience is a high impact practice. A high impact practice is an active learning practice that promotes deep learning by promoting student engagement. These courses also enrich your undergraduate experience as they provide a different opportunity to learn in order to achieve the credits that you need. If you are wanting to pursue a career in academia, this is also a great way to obtain some research experience, which is often mandatory when pursuing this field of work. Performing research can expand your academic and career horizons in new ways, as you'll learn a lot about yourself and your interests, as well as have the opportunity to connect with other like-minded individuals. And in addition, you'll gain confidence in your ability to contribute to science. This is a great benefit for both your personal and professional growth. So this slide here reviews the courses that we do offer. We have Bio B98 and Bio B99, which are offered throughout any term, and they count for half a credit each. We have Bio C99, which is our biology team research course. It counts for half of a credit and is also available any term. We have Bio D95, which again is also offered any term and counts for half a credit. And then we have Bio D98 and Bio D99, which count for a full credit. And you can take these courses either the fall and winter combined or the summer alone. And then in addition, we have our paramedicine program, which is a joint program with Centennial College, and it counts for a full credit and is available through the fall and winter term. I should also note that those courses, they're not correlated to year of study. So if you fulfill the prerequisites, then you'd be eligible to register for the course. So a B, for example, doesn't mean second year or anything like that. So as long as you have the prerequisites, then you would be able to be eligible for any of these. So the first course we're going to discuss is Bio B98 and Bio B99. So these are introductory supervised research experience courses. They are a little bit different in that no letter or percentage grades are given, and it passes a credit or no credit model. So once you've secured a supervisor for this course, you would work out an exact schedule with them. That would include a minimum time commitment of 72 hours. I should also note that Bio B99 is identical to Bio B98, but is intended as a second research experience. So you would want to take Bio B98 first, And if you and your supervisor decided that you wanted to extend the research that you had done into a Bio B99, then that would be the time to do so. So you and your supervisor could talk about a plan of study, the scope of which goes beyond what you did in Bio B98. So sometimes that's necessary, but sometimes you may complete everything that you need to in the first course. So these courses are a great way to get your feet wet when it comes to research experience. Usually this would be suggested to take first if you're brand new to research. The next course we're going to talk about is Bio C99. So this is meant as well as an introduction to directed research. It is team-based in that you would be working with a group of students, 3 to 5 students, to create a research proposal and or implement a research project under the guidance of your faculty researcher. How the work is assessed is determined prior to the start of the project and may include your level of contribution over the term, as well as a final written piece. For this course, I would like to note as well that it's up to you to find other students to work with to form a team. So we don't come up with the teams for you, so it'd be up to you to find a few people that wanted to work on a similar topic. And the course coordinator for this one is Dr. Mark Fitzpatrick. The next course we're going to discuss is Bio D95. So to make special note on this one, this course is not a research lab or field-based course. Instead, you would be engaging in examination of a primary literature around a pre-selected topic. In the course, you would be expected to work independently when performing your library research, but you would also frequently consult with your supervisor. There are also 5 sessions of group instruction that would form part of the coursework, and the project will culminate as a written report at the end. The faculty coordinators are Dr. Arthur Schock and Dr. Ivana Stelik. Then we have Bio D96, which is our directed research in paramedicine, which is the joint program with Centennial College. So you would be working along an industry leader, practitioner, and or researcher for this course, and you would be performing critical analysis of a current topic in the field. You would also be reporting to the course instructor and paramedicine program supervisor, Dr. Shelley Brent. Then we have Bio D98 and D99. So these courses provide laboratory or field research experience under the guidance of a faculty member from our department. So you would be required to find a supervisor to work with for the course, and then you would decide with them upon a final research topic. The course also includes 10 sessions of group instruction tutorials. Those tutorials are only offered when you take the course throughout the fall and winter academic year. In the summertime, there aren't any tutorials. And I should also note that Bio D99 is identical to Bio D98. So it works in the same way as Bio B98 and B99. So if you completed Bio D98 and if you and your supervisor felt there was more work that you could do to extend what you had already worked on, then you would be eligible to take a Bio D99, as long as you had completed Bio D98 in good standing. And again, the faculty coordinators for these courses are Dr. Arthur Schock and Dr. Ivana Stelik. So the screen here talks about some tips on finding a supervisor, because this is something that is up to you. I often receive questions regarding how to secure a supervisor for the courses, and I'm just going to provide you with a few tips. I always recommend first browsing the Biological Sciences faculty directory. I'm just going to share my screen with you actually, so you can see where you can find that on the website. So this is our departmental website. And if you went to people and faculty, you would get to this page where all of our faculty are listed. with their contact information. And you can also select their name to learn more about their teaching interests and research interests. And you can learn more about what they study. So I always recommend going there first so that you can familiarize yourself with the faculty that we have and see whose research interests align with or spark interest within yourself. Rather than sending a generic email to the faculty, I would try to make it a little bit more tailored, a little bit more customized to express interest in their research or potentially maybe suggest a topic that might be of interest for you to work with them on, just rather than a generic email like, oh, are you looking to take on students this term? Try to make it a little bit more personal. I would also suggest attending your professor's office hours and demonstrating interest in their research, as you may want to connect with them later to discuss opportunities like this. You can even read their recent publications and ask them some questions if the topic is of interest to you. And it's also beneficial to keep in touch with your TA to inquire if their lab ever needs any assistance. And I would also like to note that if you're interested in D95, D98, and D99, you are allowed to have an off-campus supervisor with the permission of Professor Ashok. So in this case, you would also be required to have a UTSC biological sciences co-supervisor. So your primary supervisor could be off campus and you would need a second co-supervisor here at UTSC. So this slide here just has a couple notes about the faculty who may be accepting students in the summer. I'm sorry I don't have more. I did send out an email, but I think that people are very busy right now, or maybe they don't know for sure what their plans are for the summer. But we do have Dr. Arti Ashok, who's looking for one student for Bio D95 on the topic of pedagogical research on course-based undergraduate research experience. And then we have Bio C99. These are just a few faculty members that said that they would be potentially open to working with students on a team-based project. And then, as I had mentioned, I would suggest reaching out to anyone else whose research interests align with yours from the faculty portion of the bio portion of the website. So this next slide, I'm just going to talk about the registration steps, because registering for these courses is a little bit more complicated than just registering for a course on Acorn and then you're done. So the first step of the process is to download and complete the necessary paperwork. There is a biological sciences permission form for each course, as well as a registrar's supervised study form that will need to be filled out and signed by both you and your supervisor. They can be found on the website, and to note, each course does have its own permission form, while the supervised study form is a standard form that would need to be filled out for each course. Your supervisor would need to sign off on the forms, and I'm just going to show you and share my screen so you can find where those are. You would want to go to our biology website to undergraduate research opportunities. And then you can find all of the courses and details here. So we do have our summer course info here at the top of the page. And then we have forms below as well. So the first portion here has been updated for summer, and the later portion of the website still needs to be updated. But I'll just give you an example. So if you were interested in taking Bio D95, for example, you would be able to select it, and then the permission form for that course comes up with all the details of the course and what you need to do. So this is the part that would need to be filled in at the bottom here. And then if you scroll down further, you'll again see by selecting the course, it will take you to the form. This is as well linked to the summer. And then we have our supervised study form underneath. So a permission form and a supervised study form need to be completed for each course. And then as well, at the very, very bottom of the page, the presentation that I'm leading right now will be updated here. So if you know of anyone that isn't able to attend today who's interested in these courses, then you could always let them know that they can find the presentation there if they missed it. So I'm just going to go back to the slide and review a couple other things. So in addition to those 2 forms for each course, I would also need an unofficial transcript and your academic history. So something from Acorn is fine. Some people send me screenshots, or you can just get your unofficial transcript from there. And your supervisor in this case would need to initial each page of your academic history so that they confirm that they've seen it and approve that you're taking the course. Once these steps have been completed, you can then go onto Acorn and register for the course, and your status will sit there as INT, it will say, or interim, until the paperwork has been submitted and processed. So this is where I come in. Once you have all of those forms completed, what you would want to do is send them all over to me. So I'd recommend scanning each document as a PDF and then sending them over to me, and then I'll review to make sure everything's been filled out completely. And then once I've done that, and if I've had any questions to ask you and everything's been finalized, then I submit those papers to the registrar's office for processing. And at that point, your status in Acorn will adjust from INT to APP, and APP is approved. So sometimes it may take a few days, but once I've submitted everything, I'll let you know, and then you can know to check to make sure that's changed over to approved. So this next slide here has some images of students who were awarded with exceptional presentations for Bio D98 and D99 presentation day. So these photos are quite old, from 2019 in the winter, because that was before the pandemic when we were able to host these types of presentations. So hopefully come summer, we'll be able to do this again. It seems like everything's really improving and restrictions are being lifted. So I hope that we'll be able to resume in-person presentations. So this presentation day is only for Bio D98 and D99. And there are some monetary prizes for people to award their achievements. So we'll look forward to that when we're able to resume this again. So the next portion of the presentation is going to be about our biological sciences certificate, which is a designation on your transcript. So I'm just going to review what steps you would need to complete in order to receive this certificate. The certificate does allow you to develop your research skills and plan out what you need to do in order to gain a solid research background. So these are the requirements in order to apply for the biological sciences certificate subject post. So you would need to be enrolled in biology or neuroscience, either a major or a specialist program, not a minor. The certificate also involves having to consult with biology's liaison librarian in order to improve and test your information literacy skills. If you go to our website under Research Excellence Certificate, it lays out all of the details, including an email to book a consultation with the liaison librarian. They'll then get back to you with a date and time, which you can then have time to prepare for. And the liaison librarian will take notes based on your conversation and send those notes over to Arthi to review. And then she'll let me know, and I'll update the registrar's office that you completed that portion of the certificate. So you must also earn at least an A- in Bio D98 and at least one other biology course. So they're listed there. And once these requirements have all been met, you would be required to write a report talking about your research experience. So this page here summarizes what you need to do in order to access our research courses and the certificate. I've already talked about these things, so I'm not going to list them off, but I'll give you a few moments just to look at this. So the first portion talks about course registration. whether you're registered for the certificate program or not. And then the second portion talks about the requirements for the certificate. So I'll just leave that there for more seconds. And if you have any questions at the end, I can always, if you've missed anything, I can always clarify with you. This slide here talks about the content of the final research report and what is needed for that. So you would need to include your name, your student number, and the program or programs that you intend to graduate in. You would also need to talk about list any research courses you have taken, and you'd want to indicate who your supervisor was for each course. And then depending on the course, there's different requirements. So if you were taking Bio B98 or B99, you would be writing a 200-word description of the research project that you contributed to, and you would indicate the role that you had, and as well as the skills that you developed during your time taking that course. For Bio C99 or D98 and D99, you would be writing a 500 to 100-word summary of the nature of the project, including your role as well as any conclusions that you had made in your final report. And then as well, you would want to be talking about the skills that you developed during that time. So there's no right or wrong answer here. Like, you would just be talking about your experience and what you learned, and it gives you a time to reflect. And that's for the critical reflection part of the experience. So after you've written out your either 200-word description or the 500 to 1,000-word summary, that's when you would talk about your personal experiences, and that's 200 to 400 words, where you can be very open about your time and your experience, and gives you a time to reflect and think about how it helps you grow. And lastly, if you have any suggestions for general training that you think would provide students with a better research experience for the future, we're always happy to hear those ideas there as well. And now we're going to move on to our question and answer period. So thank you for taking the time to review this with me. I hope you enjoyed it. And now the table is open for questions. So you can either raise your hand and we'll come to you if you'd like to ask your question verbally, or you can always ask a question in the chat as well.